Welcome to the Tempest Trials for Familiar Faces, where we're going to go through the story, seals, and of course the bonus units, and some quick tips at the end. Today's tips will focus on auto-battling perfection and maybe achieving higher ranks. That's what I'll focus today's video on. So, let us begin. And that's everything I know about what's going on. Everything I know about the Tempest. So I beseech you, heroes, please lend me your strength so we can restore. Is that you, brave hero? It is. Please wait. If it's money you want, I'm not here to rob you, if that's what you think. Guess I can't blame you after last year. Whoa, hi there, Marth. It's good to see you again. Ready to get going? Wah! Another brave hero. I am glad to see you again, Mia. Truly, I am so grateful. Ah, that's no reason to cry, Marth. Stop that sniffling. I sense a sinister presence. I can't ignore that, so I'll join you. I wonder what sort of mischief awaits us in the depths of the Tempest. Though I must return to my liege's side with all haste, I will join you in fighting this evil. Seems like everybody's raring to go. Time's wasting. Let's get a move on. Come on, you big ox. Guess that's how it is. I guess this is kind of a reference to the previous year's Tempest Trials, where we had Dorcas and Mia as bonus units back then. So that's why they're kind of saying, like, happy to see you again. So that's kind of interesting. At least there's no story spoilers like last time, where we had pretty much FE4's thing with Quan and Sigurd and Eldigan kind of ruined there, but hey, whatever. Let's move on. So today's bonus units for this Tempest Trials, which of course last 10 days with the maximum rewards being at 50k, we got Halloween Myrrh, Kagro, Niles, and Mia. These are obviously the newest units from the banner. They pretty much always do this. Thankfully, they haven't divided 40% 20% like they used to, so you don't feel obligated to pull on the banner, and you can just hope to use one of these other units which have already been in the game for a while, which happen to be Halloween Dorcas for free from this Tempest Trials, Myrrh, Mia, and Dorcas. However, these units are generally 5-star exclusive, and I'm sure most people might only have Halloween Dorcas as a choice. In fact, I only have Mia from recent summonings for Hellbindi and Dorcas, who I just recently picked up here. So yeah, my Dorcas is pretty much ready to go. I have shown this off in a previous video where I was talking about the unit analysis of the new Halloween units. So yeah, this is going to be used for Arena, and it is also used for Tempest Trials as a bonus unit. He reaches 34 speed, 70 HP, 62 attack, 43 defense, and 27 res, plus he has ally support from Wendy, who's also in my arena core. He's going to have drive speed and rally support. So he's ready to go, and he's going to be tearing up arenas next week when we get that. He's also a really good unit based on his stat spread as I've gone through. If you don't have this much support though, then I probably wouldn't be using speed refine, and would likely just stick with Worry Fighter with a defense refine. Either way, the rewards, I've already completed Tempest Trials here on the first day. I've reached maximum rewards, but as always I go for top 1k, so I'll complete that later. I'll give you guys some tips as to how you can actually get through Tempest Trials as quickly as possible with minimal effort and just not as much stress. But let's go through this. As always, we have 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, crystals, shards, and whatnot. We get 2 copies of Halloween Dorcas. As I said, I've merged up both of mine because I have usage of them in Arena and Tempest Trials. I get a good value out of it. He's going to be a good Arena Assault check in the future. He's just a really good unit. But because he has Sturdy Stance as fodder and Hack-O-Lantern as fodder, I don't recommend actually merging him up unless you enjoy him a lot as well. And Sturdy Stance is quite good fodder. It only comes off of Legendary Ephraim to compare. We got a bunch of seals, stones, and the actual Sacred Coins, and the actual seals that we do receive from this Tempest Trials are, in my opinion, some of the best we've had from any Tempest Trials. I think Flashing Blade and Heavy Blade were very comparable from those Tempest Trials, but speed defense. So stats are always good, okay? Like, I have upgraded all of my stat seals. HP res, very good. Attack defense too. Fjorm, Dorcas is running, he's running Brazen Attack res, but their speed defense too. So stat seals are always really good. They just give you more stats, okay? And more stats is very important, whether you're doing Arena Assault, Arenas, not Arenas. Arenas, you don't really want to use them because of score optimization, but as an Arena Assault counter unit, or even Abyssals or Infernals, like, that's always good. So I think this seal may be a little bit underlooked or undervalued. but it's still going to be a pretty good one, especially if the unit has already some decent attack. So that's going to be awesome. Darting stance. Okay, so this one, it may not look good because then you look at it on the A slot from Shigure and think, oh, you know, this is probably not a good seal. But you know what? It actually will be a pretty good seal because it can act as a pseudo QR3. So you usually use quick repose 3 to guarantee doubles for your units that were normally pretty slow. But if you give darting stance to a unit that had about, like, let's say middle 30 speed, like 33, 34, 35, you bump them up to 40. Maybe if you have a rally speed, you're up to 43, and a drive speed will put you like 46, ally sport 48. So you see like kind of the compounding effect of putting this on a unit that's already kind of middling speed, where you can guarantee doubles on them. And speed also acts as a defensive stat where you don't you can just avoid, you just avoid the doubles from the enemy units. So it kind of works both there, and this could actually be better than quick riposte in those situations to avoid those doubles. So yeah, darting stance, again, a very good seal. I don't have the coins to upgrade it right now, but it will likely be one of those seals that I would upgrade in the future. Keep in mind, this skill does not optimally score at 240 SP, so you won't be using it in arena because you should generally be using quick riposte instead, because it does score optimally 240 SP there. This Tempest Trials provide us with an Earth Blessing. Thanks. There's your 5-star Dorcas, so he kicks butt. And finally, probably the glory reward from the Tempest Trials itself, the Brazen Attack Res Seal. So this seal is amazing, for sure. Brazen Attack Res is probably, in my opinion, one of the weaker ones from the Brazen sets. Even Defense Res would be pretty good. And I don't think we have any speed variants. We're mostly just attack, defense, attack, res, and attack speed, but there haven't been any like speed defense or speed res Brazens or anything like that. So thankfully, because those would be less useful than the Brazen Attack combinations with something else. I think maybe they learned that from like the bond skills that were like speed defense not being so good, or speed res or something. Like if you look at those skills, they're not as good as just having attack, where attack gives you a lot of value. So Brazen Attack Res, how do we use this? In my case, I put it on my Dorcas because he's going to have 70 HP, and that's so much HP that he'll likely be within the Brazen range, and he'll be hopping between both HP thresholds to kind of auto-battle a lot of the stuff, plus Ether. This is just like the max support idea here, but not exactly the most ideal unit for it. In fact, you'd probably be using quick riposte on Dorcas because of his 25 base speed. But basically who you want to use Brazen Attack Reses on units that can bump themselves safely into the Brazen range and then smash some heads. So a good candidate for that is actually just going to be Celica, first one that comes to mind, because her weapon already has Brazen Attack speed on it. You could give her like Brazen Attack Defense in the A slot and Brazen Attack Res on the seal, and you have a Celica with plus 21 attack, plus 7 speed defense, and res. Okay, so she's going to be pretty tanky in that case, even below 80% health, because she's getting a mix of stats. And, it shouldn't be too hard to get into that threshold because her weapon actually gives her 5 chip damage every time. Now, of course, you don't have to run that combination. You could actually just run like Brazen Attack Speed in the A. You can run Fury to get into that Brazen range even safer. There's going to be some pretty good options there, but that's one of the best candidates, I would say, for Brazen Attack Res. Another really good candidate would be like Akariss, who you would run like a distant counter Vantage build. You give him the Brazen Attack Res seal. He's within the Vantage Brazen range, and he just goes for those super one-shots with like a plus attack minus HP IV, for instance. So really good potential on some of these are the most obvious candidates for this seal, but it's going to work for others too. I mean, if you use Alphonse, he's got pretty much that whole Brazen thing going. Be careful using it on Alphonse though, because he does have some really good defense, and that means it could be hard to get within the triple Brazen range, and you could be putting yourself at risk by not having an A slot, a seal slot, and then your weapon does nothing. So be careful in that sort of situation. I actually recommend just using Fury to chip yourself into the double Brazen range, because you wouldn't have an A slot Brazen, and that'd be still giving you a lot of stats from Fury, like speed and maybe defense or res or which one you go for there. Only you losing like 4 stats, but generally speaking, like that's how I would use it. I think this has a lot of potential, and if you actually have some ideas for me, I'd like to see it like in the comments as to how you plan to utilize this seal as well. So that pretty much covers what I think of this. Very good rewards from the Tempest Trials. Unfortunately, bonus units haven't been too good, but I'm going to go through a little bit of tips to make sure that you make this Tempest Trials as easy as you can for yourself. So again, use your best units, okay? And some people do this. Some people go, you know, I'm gonna try to compromise by HM farming Tempest Trials and you know, going through the lower difficulties or something like hard 4. Hard 4 is good. If you've checked out my mathematical Tempest Trials video, I go through which ones are the most value, and hard 4 is pretty good if you're a newer player and you don't have built up teams. But if you've been a long time player, I highly recommend doing Lunatic 5 or 7 on auto battles, or manually on Lunatic 7 if you have the diligence and perseverance for it. What I highly recommend doing is literally just use your best units, okay? Use your best units. Who cares if they're HM cap? That's why we have rival domains. That's why I have GHB HM farming. If you want your feathers, go into those modes and farm it up. Like me, rival domains, HM farming. This is what I do. If you go to my hero merit list, I've pretty much capped out most of my units. Pretty much have nothing left here at the bottom. I'm going to clear this up next time rival domains comes back, and I'll probably do some Arvis farming or Navarre on the best days for GHB where I can do this. So there's no need to compromise scoring here. You can save yourself some stamina pots instead. Save those stamina pots and just try to aim for the score, even if you're just aiming for 50k. Give yourself that goal. What score are you aiming for? And get in there. So my team is, unfortunately, there's only one bonus unit. That's Halloween Dorcas. I don't have any Mia, like a high merge Mia, Mur, or anything like that. If you have that, you can actually go for the Lunatic 7 auto battles. But since my team isn't bonus units, I actually keep your tricks. Go into Lunatic 5, and this is where I go. Sometimes, you know, there's some bad matchups that happen. Something like here, Arthur with Emerald Axe might give Fjorm some trouble. There's your Ruby Sword with Hinata. But generally speaking, the best way you can go about this is, I don't have a healer on here, but Renewal is the best skill you can give your units in auto battle if you intend to not bring a healer. So Fjorm has Renewal, Dorcas has Renewal, Wendy has Renewal, Xander has Renewal. Both of them have carrot weapons as well. They're pretty much designed for this sort of auto battle situations, and they're my best units. Ether gives them additional healing, and you know, they have some buffs as well, plus those extra stats I talked about earlier. So you equip all that stuff, and they generally do pretty well. If you don't have renewals, you don't have renewal fodder, then you want to jump into having some sort of healer with no weapon equipped, and then you just want to have, like, auto battle will make sure with no weapon equipped that they're going to be healing. Some other things you can do, and this is what I do of course, is summoner support and ally support a bonus unit. If you don't really care too much about your summoner support, you haven't been utilizing it very well, it's very easy to farm it. Like, auto battling Lunatic 5 will get it done within 30 minutes of playing. You just auto battle on the 35 and you'll get it done easily. That's what I did with Dorcas here, plus the ally support. The ally support is something a lot of people forget. So if you don't have ally support, equipped like Wendy and Dorcas here, both of them have that ally support, and of course, as you can see here, Fjorm is also ally supported with Xander. Now, as well, if you do have a high merge legendary hero, you can take advantage of blessings as well. So it isn't water season, unfortunately, but it will be. It won't be during this Tempest Trials, but it was like last one, I think, with Fjorm being a bonus unit, or Alphonse. Like, sometimes that happens where you get that overlap. Using a bonus unit is a good way to also add additional stats. HP and speed would have been really useful here, just especially the HP, for instance. And you know, those are some really simple but clean and great ways to give yourself huge advantages when you jump into these auto battles to make it, you know, as clean as possible. Like, you can choose to do manual of 7, for instance, but I have to go through 2 accounts, top 1k, over 200k score. So plus, you know, making these videos, being on Twitch and teaching full-time makes it quite difficult for most of us, not just me, to go through 200k of manual playing all the time. So the best thing you can do is make it as easy as you can for yourself to get through these auto battles. Finally, keep in mind, of course, you'll get some bad spawns. Seeing like a male Grima there where your Fjorm decides to go in and die is not that much fun to see. Plus you got an Ira there with Regnal Astra, you know, and that happens. It happens, but as long as you have a secondary team that takes care of, and this is the most important thing, takes care of whoever the final boss is, that'll make your life a lot easier. So in this case, we have Halloween Henry here with Bold Fighter and Reprisal. He does give a lot of trouble to my units, but Dorcas here with Brazen Attack Res does a pretty good job at taking care of him. And as you can see, he goes in there and absolutely deletes everything. Even with no red unit, we're able to clean it up clear. So I hope this helped you guys out, and happy farming. Good luck, get all those seals and orbs, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.